Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture.
And don't forget, if you want to listen to the news as a podcast whilst you're out and about, you can do so by searching for WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. But coming up today, are we going to see more intergender wrestling in WWE after what happened with Randy Orton and Beth Phoenix?
I'm going to tell you what happened when MJF gave a little kid of 7 years old the middle finger.
A Hall of Famer from WWE showed up last night on AEW Dynamite.
WWE Backstage had a terrible rating this week.
And Scott Steiner has gone full Scott Steiner. This is the news.
But we are going to kick things off by talking about that Edge Randy Orton program. Maybe the best feud in wrestling right now.
A lot of people arguing it should be main event in WrestleMania.
It's the hottest, it's the best built thing in the company at the moment, certainly. Everyone seems to love it. I haven't seen one person earnestly criticising this damn thing, and for good reason. The whole thing has been brilliant. And we want to know, you guys want to know, the man behind this. Who's writing this material? Who's putting it forward? Who's coming up with the ideas? Well, it shouldn't come as a huge surprise. It's Paul Heyman, Raw's executive creative. What executive director of Raw, creative director of Raw, wherever the hell he is the one coming up with this material. He is the one writing the bulk of it, according to WrestlingNews.co. However, he is also taking a lot of input from the talents themselves. Edge and Orton are being allowed to pitch their own ideas for this thing, so it's something of like a little collaborative effort with Heyman at the very top of the tree, which is something you really do love to hear. Now, on top of this, they also reveal that Edge, who is supposed to be returning next week on Raw, advertised by the venue, the whole thing when he comes back will be this guy's wrestling against doctor's orders and all this stuff. That'll build even more drama because you're going to go into WrestleMania and think his neck is legitimately goofed. And also, they note that Beth Phoenix at some point is going to get revenge on Orton. Of course, she was RKO'd on this week's episode of Raw. So, you know, not a lot of stunning reservations here, but it's always cool to kind of lift up the thing that has the engine underneath it. What's that called? The boot? The bonnet. Lift up the bonnet and see how the car is driving.
I was really worried when you said lift up there, and I was like, where's he going with this one? No, it is great to hear this. No great surprise as you said that Paul Heyman is involved in this. Also, interesting to note that when wrestlers have creative input in their own storylines, look how good they become. Maybe something WWE could learn from all this. I sense that Rusev and Lana and Bobby Lashley weren't going, do you know what, I think we should just have Bobby Lashley win again this week, mate. I think that works really well for this awful storyline.
Yeah. Let's do a lesbian thing. We'll live Morgan and then forget about it next week. Storytelling.
Anyway, talking more about Randy Orton RKOing Beth Phoenix as we saw on Monday Night Raw. A lot of people speculating whether or not this will lead to more intergender wrestling or just intergender storylines when it comes to WWE. But according to a new report also from WrestlingNews.co, Paul Davis writes that he was told the attack on Phoenix is not a sign that we will see more men attacking women on WWE TV. And if it goes down again, it will be saved for big angles such as this one, which, makes a lot of sense. You can't really just do something like that, which has gained a lot of traction. You know, fans in a bubble, let's just reiterate here, liked what they saw, even though it was heinous and terrible and what have you. And you don't want to be just chucking that away on TV every week to get a bit of a reaction from the crowd.
It's a shock value thing, isn't it? Because it's something that you didn't see in WWE for the longest time ever. But then you see things like Nia Jax in the Royal Rumble and Becky Lynch taking was it the end of days of the Deep Six when Seth was facing Baron Corbin? Stuff like that. It gets a massive reaction because you barely ever see it. Same with Beth this week as well. I mean, it does it a discredit to say that the only reason that got a big reaction was because you rarely see it, because the work preceding it in the promo was phenomenal stuff as well. But this is good. I would probably argue that if people want to see women getting, obviously, kayfabe beaten up on wrestling TV every single week, they are psychopaths and probably need to get themselves looked at. It's a work, obviously. But keeping it the odd occasional angle here and there, maybe once a year, maybe once every 4 years if the angle doesn't warrant it, makes all the sense in the world to me.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's move over to MJF. So if you've been online over the past 24 hours, you might have seen that. You might have seen the video or indeed the photo of MJF as a little kid at a signing session. Little kid, 7 years old, there with his dad, meeting all the wrestlers, having a great time. MJF looking at him in the face, going like that.
I love MJF.
It's something else. Well, this has caused a little bit of controversy because it's 2020 and people don't know what a heel is. TMZ.
I'll piss off, TMZ.
Ryan Satin's former
Get a proper
employers.
job.
TMZ actually spoke to the father of this kid. His name's Tom Gilmartin, the father, and he said, "I tried to laugh it off knowing he's just a character, but it really upset my son. I know that's his gimmick, but he's only 7 and he doesn't understand," adding that his son had been mocked online after what happened. Now, Cody actually got into this. He tagged Mr. Gilmartin on Twitter and he said, "Hey Tom, just give me your name and your city and we will have some we'll have some tickets for the next time we are in your neighborhood. Plus I'll personally come by and say hello during the show." He also tweeted earlier, and he's deleted this since then, Mr. Cody, saying, "Disclaimer, if you have a meet and greet or inquire media-wise for MJF, you'll get MJF. Talent have freedom of expression, so please don't think anybody is going to act differently to the way they do on TV." But he seems to have deleted that in favour of going down the more in-character approach. On Twitter, he said that MJF doesn't represent the brand, and I'm the good guy, he's the bad guy, all this stuff. MJF had a pretty good response to this.
Him.
TMZ asked, what do you think of all this? And he just said 3 words, F the kids. So, it's a heel being a heel. It's a heel being a heel.
Quite right.
Yeah.
It's MJF. What do you expect?
I know.
What, you think he's going to do all this stuff that he's done with Cody Rhodes and all this stuff he's done throughout his time, even prior to that, if you've watched things on Being the Elite or whatever, and then he's going to be there going,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
a kid. What are you talking about? It's MJF. Also, I saw a whole host of people underneath the TMZ tweet, which have just infuriated me that they were like, "Oh, we're interested in this now. Now we can be offended by it." Yeah. All the underneath were people just posting a picture of their kid with MJF getting the middle finger going, "I'm absolutely fine with this." Look, I get it. If kids, I mean, it's almost on the parents here a little bit.
It is, yeah.
Look, if you go, who do you want to go and meet? And they go, MJF. You go, well, maybe not MJF, maybe Cody.
Yeah.
You know, maybe literally anyone else on that roster other than the guy who just hates everyone.
Yeah.
You know, we've done stuff with MJF in the past. I didn't take it personally. Phil didn't take it personally. Phil's been told to his face quite offensive things by MJF because it's MJF. He's a heel. What do you want? Decide what you want, community, because do you want wrestlers to live their gimmick or do you want them to be a character and then just a nice person? Because I've seen people moaning about that in the past of like, oh, well, we don't know whether we want Kevin Owens to be full Kevin Owens from TV or, you know, nice guy Kevin who he is in real life, but then on Mondays or, you know, whenever SmackDown is, because he's moving about, Fridays, when he was on there, it was Tuesdays, doesn't matter. Anyway, when he was on there, do you want him to be a heel or just I don't know what you want. F the kids. Right, let's move on and talk about last night's AEW Dynamite, which saw a WWE Hall of Famer make an appearance. Jake the Snake Roberts. God, it was good to see him back
mental,
in a ring. Although, yes, I will caveat this with the fact that a lot of the time, some people have pointed this out. If WWE brings back a Hall of Famer, people moan, oh, well, he's taken away a spot from someone new. If AEW bring back a Hall of Famer, people are like, oh my God, what a great news this is.
Yeah, it's never that simple, is it?
Let's give it a chance. Let's see where they're going with this. And he's clearly not going to be wrestling Cody. He's representing him. He's managing someone, which will be revealed. He came down, he interrupted Cody's speech last night on Dynamite. He told him, he said, I'm tired of hearing you cry and bitch. And then he said the dark side will be coming to AEW. He's basically bringing someone new to the promotion to take on Cody, and said Cody can bring, quote, that one-trick pony on Anderson with him. So it seems like they're setting up a feud for Cody Rhodes against someone who's represented by Jake the Snake Roberts, and Arn Anderson will obviously be in Cody's corner. Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. A couple of things. Mystery client, sorry. That's going to be fun. Lance Archer, Brody Lee, whoever the hell it is, I'm sure it'll be cool. Number 2, it's just nice seeing Jake being able to do this stuff, isn't it, man? Like, you know, after all his struggles and stuff, obviously he's clean and healthy now, but like, lovely to see him on TV. And third, like, you know, he's older now, he's been through a lot, his voice has changed, he's a bit like, he doesn't project like he used to, but my God, he's still really terrifying. I would not want to cross that evil old man, and it's just a good promo from Jake, man.
It's just, like you say, it's changed, it's different from what it used to be, but it's still Jake the Sodding Snake.
He's a scary, scary man. Speaking of scary things, the WWE Backstage viewership this week was terrible. So last week, this show drew 127,000. This week, It drew 18,000.
What?
I thought this was a typo when I saw it. Maybe someone meant 118, but no. 18,000. This is, of course, the lowest viewership in Backstage history. The previous lowest was 49k for the first ever episode. So yeah, people didn't tune in to see Jeff Hardy's return and his confirmation that he'd been cleared to return. However, calm down. Of course, we know there's a reason for this. This week, it went head-to-head, or it clashed with Stupid Tuesday. I believe that's what it's called. In the United States of America, it was Colonel Sanders versus Joe Budden in a #1 contenders match for the right to face Donald Duck at White House Mania in November. How could you take your eyes off that? How could you watch Backstage when that is going on?
That does make a lot of sense,
Stupid
actually.
Tuesday.
I didn't even think about that. When you said 18,000, I was like, excuse me?
What?
But that does make a lot of sense going up against Super Tuesday. Vote Bernie. And I mean, what do you really expect with Backstage? It's not essential given I don't watch it.
It absolutely sucks. Like, we're supposed to filter like negative stuff. It sucks. WWE Backstage is a pile of piss.
Even if I've never watched it, so I don't know if it sucks or not. I've literally just seen CM Punk's return on there, right? I have no interest in watching it whatsoever. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, as I said, vote Bernie. Right, let's move on to today's final story, and it's Scott Steiner. Of course it is Scott Steiner. He was recently being interviewed by David Penza for his Sitting Ringside podcast. If any of you have seen the chat that Simon Miller had with Scott Steiner a while back, you can probably guess how this is going. Ben Roy Turner, our editor, hello mate, get ready for this. He doesn't really hold back on his opinions of WWE. He was asked about a potential Hall of Fame induction, and he said, first off, ready, editor? Okay. Where in the f*** is the Hall of Fame? How can you be in the Hall of Fame if it doesn't exist? It exists in Vince McMahon's in Vince's mind. Do I give a f*** if I rent space in Vince's mind? No, I don't give a f*** what he thinks. So I don't care if I'm in the Hall of Fame because it's a f***ing joke because it doesn't exist. Never change, Scott.
Oh, I love it, man.
He also had some words from Triple H. Saying that's the thing when a guy is a mark and he wants to beat everyone and he's a legitimate. I'm not going to say anymore. We've edited it off anyway. Well, you know what he called Stephanie McMahon when we interviewed him.
Yeah, Scott Steiner.
I love him. Scott Steiner just is peak.
He showed up in NWA Power recently and he was bald and he looked like superstar Billy Graham and it was just really weird. But I'm glad to see Scott Steiner is still out there doing Scott Steiner things. Find that video with Simon from the other year. It is the best interview of all time. His quote on Stephanie McMahon, it will blow your little titties off or your wig if you wear one like me. It's fun, man.
Indeed. Let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch. Jake asked our first question today about NXT last night, which had a spectacular ending. He says, if Adam Cole drops the title at TakeOver and Drew McIntyre wins the title at Mania, what would you say to the Undisputed Era making their main roster debut the same way they made their NXT debut, attacking Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, I think it would be an interesting way of doing things. It would certainly make a big impact and it would get people talking, it would get people popping, which is obviously one of the most important things. Yeah, I think it'd be a nice way to do it, but do we want to see the Undisputed Era on the main roster just yet? They're definitely ready for it, but I don't know how they're going to be handled up there.
I'd be keen to see something like that. Yeah. The moment you said that, Jake, I really liked it. But who knows? Still, they might have a lot of stuff that they want to do still in NXT. And I still want to see that feud between Roderick Strong and Adam Cole when the Undisputed Era just falls to pieces. Mike on the mic gives us our second question of the day, saying, with the announcement of the Death Triangle on AEW Dynamite, that is the Lucha Bros and Pac.
Bastard.
Literal murderous row, that is. Love them.
That's great.
Do you feel that AEW should create a 6-man tag team championship? There's plenty of teams that can make a strive for this particular championship. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought a few months ago that maybe this was something they'd head down because they've got that, they've got these guys, the Death Triangle, they've got SCU, they've got various Inner Circle groups, they've got Jurassic Express, they've got Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Yeah, man, why not? And it's something no other major American promotion is doing. Ring of Honor have one, but do we count them as a major? I'm not sure we do. They're certainly not, to the level of AEW and so forth. So yeah, let's do it. Why not?
I like it. Mr. Lawton gives us our final question of the day, saying, so is Jake Roberts working for Lance Archer or Brody Lee?
This is the question I asked myself, and I ultimately decided on Brody Lee, mainly because I don't want to see him as the Dark Order's leader. But yeah, talking about evil and stuff, it kind of fits like, or the darkness or whatever he said. It kind of fits Brody a little bit more than Lance. Lance is like this scary psycho guy. He's not necessarily evil. He's the American Psycho. He's this and that. So I think Brody, man, but I could see it being either. What if it's someone really lame? What if it's like, oh, we've got the Solomon Crow guy that Simon Miller is going to...
Sami Callihan.
That's it, Sumi Kulahun.
Fighting Simon Miller over WrestleMania weekend. Make sure you check that out. I'll tell you what, to make this interesting, should we have a pasty bet?
Let's have a pasty bet.
I'll have Lance Archer,
dance.
you have Brody.
Let's do it.
Pasty bet it is. Right, let's move on to today's, and finally, you may have seen this doing the rounds on Twitter last night ahead of AEW Dynamite. Because Nyla Rose was getting ready for AEW Dynamite. She posed with her AEW Women's Championship. Have you seen this photo?
I've not seen this photo.
Well,
Simon Miller.
there it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Simon gave me an up t-shirt.
Boy.
Shout out to you, Nyla Rose. There were signs I saw again in the AEW Dynamite crowd as well. Get this everywhere. Congratulations to you, Nyla Rose.
Awesome.
And to Simon Miller.
Yeah, great. Love the synergy.
We had him here yesterday. It was so lovely. We've got loads of videos coming out with him soon.
Glow around him of nice stuff, isn't there? If you're ever feeling down, just be within like 100 meters of Simon Miller, man. You'll immediately be up.
Any more of that sort of thing, let us know absolutely on Twitter at WhatCultureW, as I said. But let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadley Boys will be reviewing the Wednesday Night War a little bit later on today. Plus, let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, you can follow both of us. You can follow him at...
You can follow me at Andy H. Marty, the H stands for Hairy Hat Man. Do you remember those?
Nope.
No.
You can follow me at Will Ward. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thanks to Nyla Rose. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
One for the letter X was kissing cousins. You don't want to do that.
Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, here to let you know we want your live event videos, whether that be something that happened after the cameras stopped rolling, or your reaction to something amazing that went down at the show you were at. Stuff like this.
One of the other sweetest things I've ever seen was just recently when we saw Roman Reigns kick the shit out of cancer and come back on Monday Night Raw.
So make sure you send them to us in all the usual ways. You can tweet them at us, you can send them to us on Facebook, you can email them to us. Hell, if it's your sort of thing, you can stick them on a memory stick and post them to What Culture. But the one thing you need to remember is good, bad. Thanks for watching. Bye.